Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and I have some good news to present to y'all. The Washington football team has signed left tackle Charles Leno to a 3-year, $37.5 million deal to stay with us. He's not going anywhere. So, of course, I gotta break down why this was such a great signing. We gotta talk about the money. We got to talk about, first of all, the best ability is availability, and he's king of that. Also going to talk about how productive he's been. And our JD McKissic and Bobby McCain next. We're going to dive into all of that and more, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. Make sure you go check out my full breakdown of the top 5 free agents at every position of need that the Washington football team needs to go sign. Put that video out a few days ago. Make sure you go check that out as well. And also be on the lookout for my mock draft that I'm currently working on. Probably will finish it up and release it tomorrow, as in Thursday, hopefully. And without further ado, let's get it. So as you can see, the Washington football team has signed left tackle Charles Leno to a 3-year deal worth $37.5 million. Remember, he was released by the Bears in May, and he has found a new home here. And this is big for the Washington football team to lock down their left tackle. No, he's no Trent Williams, but especially for the money that we're giving him, this is an A-level signing to me. If I had to give it a grade, this is an A, easily. Only thing that would make it an A+ is if you could give somebody this exact same amount of money and they're literally as good as Trent Williams or like an all-pro player. But he's right at the tier below all-pro, Pro Bowl. I think, honestly, he played well enough to make the Pro Bowl this season. Hopefully, he makes it next year. I think he's that good. And again, to get him for a little over $12 million a year is huge. Again, left tackle. You know, the most important positions of football are quarterback, then the guy that can get to the quarterback, and then the most important guy protecting the quarterback, and that's left tackle. Literally goes quarterback, edge rusher, left tackle, and then after that, you can debate who's the most important positions in football. Those are easily the top 3. And so we have ours figured out for the next 3 years. And then on top of that, he's great in the community as well. He's just one of those guys that's always heavily involved in the community. So this guy, especially with him getting new money, I definitely expect him to be a big help in the DMV community for real, man. That's a big get for us, especially long term. And just a little bit of history. And speaking of the money, that $12.5 million that he's making per year ranks only 22nd out of highest paid left and right tackles in the NFL. And we're going to talk about it soon, but he's the 18th ranked tackle in the NFL by Pro Football Focus. So he's more productive than the money that we're giving him. We got a really good deal on keeping him for 3 years. And that's right now. He's the 22nd highest paid left tackle right now. This offseason, he's definitely going to move down the list as more tackles get paid. He may slide all the way down to the high 30s within the next year or two. And again, I believe he's at least a top 15 tackle in the NFL. But again, we're going to dive into that soon. But just a little bit of history on him. He is 30 years old. He is a former 7th round pick of the Chicago Bears back in 2014. And he played out his 4-year, a little over $2 million rookie contract before he signed a 4-year, $38 million extension with them in 2017. And then going into the final year of his deal, the 4th year of that 4-year deal, he was set to make $9 million in 2021, but then the Bears designated him a June 1st cut in the offseason, which was a blessing for us because we were able to pick him up, signed him right off the street, signed him to a 1-year, $5 million deal, a nice little 1-year prove-it deal for this season, and he's more than cashed in enough. And he's done more than enough to prove how he earned that 3-year extension. And not only has this guy started at left tackle for us, he's even had to start at right tackle for us sometimes when there have been injuries. And again, Pro Football Focus has him ranked the 18th best offensive tackle out of 82 qualifying tackles in the NFL. And he's the 3rd best pass blocking tackle out of the entire NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. According to PFF, the only tackles in the NFL that have a higher pass block grade than Charles Leno is Andrew Whitworth and Tyron Smith. He even has a higher pass block grade than Trent Williams. His run block grade is only a 62, and that's where he struggles the most. But overall, with him having the 3rd best pass blocking grade, and with him being the 18th ranked tackle out of the entire NFL, I'm cool with it. Especially if he's getting money that's ranked in the 20s and will eventually be ranked in the 30s, like I already said. But most importantly, not even just the production. Like I said in the intro, the best ability is availability. And that man has played 1,062 snaps this season for us. He hasn't missed a game since 2015. Hasn't missed a start since 2016, because he played in all 16 games in 2015, but technically only started 13. Remember, he was a 7th round pick. He had to really work his way up the depth chart. And since he's become a starter in 2016, he hasn't missed a start since. He literally hasn't missed a game since his rookie season. He's played 112 consecutive games. And then just this year alone, again, he's played 1,062 snaps. He's only committed 1 penalty. He's only allowed 6 sacks. And remember, the beginning of the year was really rough for him. Those first 3 weeks was ugly. He was the one that allowed that hit on Ryan Fitzpatrick that took him out for the rest of the season, for the entire season. And ever since then, after the first 3 weeks, he's been excellent for us. I'm really happy that not only we signed him when the Bears released him for, it seems like, for almost no reason. I remember Bears players telling us that he's terrible. Y'all made a mistake signing him. And it looked like in those first 3 games, I'm not gonna lie. He had us in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. But he turned it around and he's been balling. And then leaving the micro view, looking at it at a macro view, he will now be a part of a really great offensive line. Remember, before all of the injuries hit us, probably the worst in the league as far as offensive lines go, with between COVID and injured reserves and us having to go out there with a 5th string center, 3rd string guards, backup tackles. Even while we've had a lot of severe injuries, we were still the 3rd ranked offensive line in the NFL. It was literally the Rams 1, Eagles 2, us 3rd, and then everybody else was like a distant 4th and beyond. Like, we literally had a top 3 offensive line this season, even while we had to throw backups out there sometimes. I mean, Wes Schweitzer has played a lot of games at guard and center this season. He's technically only supposed to be a backup. Wes Schweitzer, according to Pro Football Focus, is the 8th best guard in the NFL. Brandon Sheriff is the 12th, and Eric Flowers is the 18th. So out of the top 18 guards out of the entire NFL, out of 83 qualifying players, the Washington football team has 3 in the top 18. Only the Patriots, the Browns, the Buccaneers, and the Chiefs have 2 guards in the top 18. We're the only team in the NFL that have 3, according to Pro Football Focus. And then when you look at center, Chase Roulier is the 4th highest graded center before he got hurt out of the entire NFL. So we have 3 top 18 guards. We have the 4th best center when healthy. Charles Leno is the 18th best tackle in the NFL, again according to Pro Football Focus, and Samuel Cosmi is the 8th best run blocking tackle in the NFL, and the 26th tackle overall. And again, this is his rookie season, and he was hurt for a few games in the middle of the season and is just now coming back from that. Has only played like 2 or 3 games in a row since. So I feel like if he were able to stay healthy the entire time, he would definitely be ranked higher than 26th. So overall, this offensive line, according to Pro Football Focus, according to advanced statistics, is easily a top 5 offensive line in the NFL when healthy. I mean, our backup guard, according to Pro Football Focus, is the 8th best guard in the NFL. So the future is very bright, especially offensive line wise, which was considered one of our biggest weaknesses going into this season. But it was all just a bunch of mysteries. I mean, Samuel Cosmi had loads of talent, but who knew how well he would develop? And he developed way sooner than we thought he would. Chase Roulier, we already knew. Brandon Sheriff, it's just about him staying healthy. I already liked what I saw from Wes Schweitzer the previous season. I loved what I saw from Eric Flowers before he went to Miami. And then Charles Leno was also a slight wild card. It was really just only him and Samuel Cosmi that I was honestly worried about. And then they all came out balling. Charles Leno, one of the best pass blocking tackles in the NFL. Samuel Cosmi, already one of the best run blocking tackles in the NFL. And I think this is great too, because we are getting together the building blocks to find a franchise quarterback, whether it be through the free agency, through a trade, or the draft, or a combination of 2 of those 3 things. Maybe we sign a guy in free agency and we draft a guy. Either way, whoever our answer will be at quarterback moving forward, and I highly doubt it will be Taylor Heinicke. Even if Taylor Heinicke is your week 1 starter in 2022, I'm pretty sure we're going to have at least some type of quarterback prospect behind them, our supposed future franchise quarterback learning behind them at the very least. So we're putting together an offensive line long term that can protect our potential franchise quarterback. Again, I highly doubt it's Taylor Heinicke, even if he is our starter week 1. Because if he's our starter week 1, I'm almost 99.99% sure there's somebody behind him that we drafted that we're expecting to take over either sometime this season or maybe next season. And Taylor Heineke would just be the bridge quarterback. But again, either way, it looks like we have a potential top 5 offensive line locked up at least going into this next season. So I'm happy. And also, I mean, Samuel Cosmi, we already knew he was going to be our long-term answer at right tackle. But if we didn't get Charles Leno locked down for these next 3 years, Samuel Cosmi was at risk of having to move to possibly left tackle, and maybe we bring in another guy to play right tackle, and maybe Samuel Cosmi will end up flip-flopping back and forth and things like that. So I'm really happy he doesn't have to deal with that as well. And then before we go, it's been reported by John Comm that the Washington football team also plans on keeping J.D. McKissic and Bobby McCain. So that's either double good news for some people or that's good and bad news for some people, because all of us love J.D. McKissic. We all feel like we need him long-term as well. We need to sign him to at least a 3-year deal. He needs to be here forever because he's literally everything we hope Chris Thompson would be. And all of his injuries have been like freak accidents. I mean, that concussion, neck injury, that's not usual. I would not consider him injury prone. And then Bobby McCain, I mean, like I've already said in my top 5 free agents at every position of need that we need. In that video, I talked about Bobby McCain, and I said that I would love for us to be very aggressive in acquiring a new true franchise free safety, whether it be through the draft or signing one in the offseason like a Marcus Williams. But even if we do address free safety in the offseason, I would still like to bring Bobby McCain back on a very cheap deal, at least as depth, or he can start until maybe the guy that we draft is ready to start. Because Bobby McCain is straight. He's gotten better and better as the season has gone on. It was a little ugly. It was a little on and off in the beginning of the season and some of the middle. But since then, he's actually been fairly solid. So I'm happy about the idea of re-signing Bobby McCain, but I hope that's not like the end-all be-all. We re-sign Bobby McCain and that's it. He's our starting free safety forever. Who knows? I mean, maybe he'd be solid enough if we just get a consistent pass rush and our entire defense is healthy. But I would still prefer to go and at least draft somebody like 2nd or 3rd round. I really like Daxton Hill from Michigan, but who knows? We'll see. Either way, I'm really excited about the fact that they're already not only talking to their free agents and trying to figure out who they want to re-sign and for how long, but they've gone and done it with Charles Leno, which lays out the blueprint on how we can potentially re-sign J.D. McKissic as well. In my top 5 free agents video, I'll show y'all the NFL cap space rankings. We were 4th out of the entire NFL. Everybody else in the NFC East was bottom 10, bottom 12, somewhere around there. The Cowboys were in the negative. And so now we're already starting to spend some of that money on retaining some very important players for us. Charles Leno first, hopefully J.D. McKissic is next, and then we should still have a lot of money, still top 10 money in the NFL to go sign other free agents if we want to and go be aggressive, whether it be for quarterback or free safety like a Marcus Williams. Pay him whatever he wants. Maybe you want Allen Robinson at receiver in free agency. Maybe A.J. Johnson, the linebacker from the Broncos. Again, my video where I break down all of the potential free agents we can get, their age, how much money their next contract may cost per year, their Pro Football Focus grade, and rank amongst their position group out of the entire NFL. I do a full breakdown of all of those guys, so make sure you go check out that video as well. But that's the end of this video. Please like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe if you haven't again, and definitely get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything I discussed in this video, especially us signing Charles Leno and the potential of us signing J.D. McKissic and Bobby McCain long term as well. And again, make sure you go check out that top 5 free agents at every position in need. I talk about guard, linebacker, free safety, quarterback, and wide receiver. So definitely make sure you go check that out. And as always, man, I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to everybody that pulls up to all of the live streams. At the very least, leaves a like, and everybody that donates, man, especially. And shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.